Now, some other things that you should know about the periodic table itself. This will not show up on the quiz, but things that we will need to know because we'll be talking about these throughout the semester. The terms group and period. And so now what we're looking at here is going to be independent of the quiz. It will show up on our first exam. But now the groups, these refer to the vertical columns. So these are the group numbers. They're numbered from 1 through 18. So the groups here, these are the vertical columns. Sometimes we refer to them as families of elements. Instead of groups, we call them families. And that's because elements in the same group tend to have similar chemical properties. So what we observe for lithium is a similar property for sodium. It's a similar property for potassium. What we observe as a property of phosphorus is similar to a property of arsenic. So again, elements in the same group tend to have similar chemical properties. Then the periods, these here are the horizontal rows. So again, the periods, these are the horizontal rows. And you'll see that the periods here are numbered from 1 through 7. Now, these asterisks and double asterisks we show here mean that these here with a single asterisk belong to which period? Number 6, and these here belong to period number 7. So again, you look at the asterisk there, they indicate that they're kind of footnoted. And the reason for that, and you'll see a similar footnote over here, is that if we looked at the actual periodic table, if we want to write it out properly, the periodic table would be super wide and kind of short. But we footnote them because, for one thing, we look at these elements, how many of these are common elements? Not many. So we kind of treat them less special. We kind of footnote them down below. Uranium is probably the one that you've heard of the most in here, and it's the only one that we're being asked to memorize. Other than that, we put them down here because then it fits on a nice 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper that will fit into your textbook or your notebook or whatever else. And so that's the main reason why they're not common. And if we didn't footnote them, we'd have a really wide and a really short periodic table. Now, some of the features of this periodic table. We have this feature right here. Notice there's a staircase. Anybody know what that staircase does? Divides the metals and nonmetals. Where do we find the metals?
Metals on the left
Metals
side.
are over here. So that staircase divides metals and nonmetals. On the left-hand side, we find the metals. On the right-hand side of the staircase, we find the nonmetals. So again, we have metals and nonmetals. And I'm going to put these in blue here. So metals over here, nonmetals over here. There's one exception to that. There's one nonmetal that appears on this left-hand side of the periodic table.
Aluminum.
It is not aluminum. On the left-hand side. I might have heard it. Yes.
Hydrogen?
Hydrogen.
Oh, that's right. Never mind.
Hydrogen. This is the only nonmetal that appears on this side of the periodic table. And then we have some elements that are right along the staircase that have properties of both metals and nonmetals. And these elements are ones that we call metalloids. We call them metalloids. And so they're ones that appear immediately to the left or right of that staircase. Aluminum, though, we don't include in there because aluminum we classify as a metal. We know aluminum. Aluminum is a metal. But other than that, elements that appear immediately to the left or the right of that staircase have some metal-like characteristics, some non-metal-like characteristics. We call them metalloids. While we're doing this, I'm going to go ahead and pull out, I forgot to bring this out here, I have some examples of these elements. I'll do that in a bit. Let's just finish this here. Let's look at another term. we have the elements of group 1. Elements of group 1, we refer to these as the alkali metals. Now the alkali metals, of course, if they're metals, they cannot include which element? Hydrogen, because hydrogen is a
Gas.
gas. It's not a metal, it is a non-metal. So alkali metals actually begin with lithium and go on down from there. The elements of group 2, these elements here are called the alkaline earth metals. So alkaline earth metals. And then if we skip over to group 18, these here we refer to as the noble gases. And then the elements of group 17, these here are called the halogens. Group 17 are called the halogens. And then we see these B groupings, and I'll put this in green. I know some of you might be colorblind, but those that aren't, this is green. And the B groupings, these elements here are called the transition metals. So we'll kind of put it like this. These here are the transition metals. Whereas those here that have the A groupings, and which color am I not using here yet? Let's try gray. So the A groupings, these here and these over here, these are what we call the main group elements. They're called the main group elements. And so again, they're the ones that are designated by the letter A. So that's these here and this block here, letter A as well. Transition metals, these are the ones that are designated by the B groupings. And then if we skip down below, elements 57 on through here, these are often referred to as the Lanthanides, the Lanthanide series. And the elements that begin with actinium, these are often called the Actinides of the Actinide series. And collectively together, if we looked at all of these here, these are often called the rare earth metals.